50,000 demonstrate in Moscow in third weekend of protests for fair elections.
Here's a summary of the article.
People rallied in central Moscow on Saturday to demand fair elections, the largest demonstration in a series of protests this summer that has rattled the Kremlin and posed the biggest political challenge to Russian President Vladimir Putin in 7 years. Moscow's protest movement for fair elections began in early July, after the city's elections commission rejected several opposition candidates' applications to run in a September 8 vote for the 45-seat Moscow City Duma, the capital's city council. The crackdown drew condemnation from human rights groups and several Western governments, which urged the Russian government to release those detained for protesting for fair elections. The city government sanctioned Saturday's protests but warned that participants who did not follow the rules on where to demonstrate would be prosecuted. Russian authorities are propagating the idea that the protests were being supported by foreign governments. Many demonstrators said they were angry at the government's disregard for their constitutional right to protest and to choose from a variety of political candidates for local elections. Demonstrations in support of Moscow's protests were also held in several other Russian cities, including St. Petersburg.
This post received a score of 7,715, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Trolls on here try to convince Westerners that Russians don't want democracy. Don't believe them.
A Russian troll telling how terrible democracy is like an eunuch telling how horrible it is to have sex.
But the UK didn't even elect their PM, classic Russian troll line. But they did elect the party that leads, and that's how the Westminster system works.
The crackdown drew condemnation from human rights groups and several Western governments, which urged the Russian government to release those detained for protesting for fair elections.
Why is this not a bigger deal? 200 people in America say the same thing and get blasted on international news all day.
Free speech crowd don't care when right-wing governments are suppressing it, that's why. Wait, so, a free speech crowd not caring about it when the states or the Rus do it? They only care when it's about guaranteeing a platform for anti-left people. I might not disagree, but I will defend your right to say it is a load of shit.
Okay, reading. Lol, the whole system is absolutely rigged. Every name that will appear on the results have been decided a year before. This will not change until maybe Putin dies, and probably a power struggle will ensue and will lead to a civil war.
Shit is going to go down when he dies. His oligarchs are going to scramble for his wealth and it will rip Russia apart.
Where were the protests when ballots were getting stuffed last election?
They probably didn't have enough of an organized force. Honestly, if a protest in Russia was less than 10,000 people there, it would be terrifying. If a protest didn't have a substantial enough amount of people, you're risking your life, but even Putin can't silence 50,000. Until you get rid of Putin permanently and round up the oligarchs, you will not have fair elections or anything resembling a real government.
There will be new Putin with his own oligarchs within a month.
Why are we just hearing of this now while we are now in the third weekend?
Biggest weekend.
Keep up the fight. You are not alone. That takes courage. Putin does not like to mess around. It's like worldwide. In every country, regular citizens want two things: freedom and fairness. Yet people all over will also try to convince you to hate whoever isn't in your own country.
From an American, we love you, Russians. Most of us want to peacefully coexist with you and appreciate your culture quite a bit. It's in your hands to take back your democracy and make it work for the people and not for power. Saving your democracy may very well save civilization, and that ain't bullshit. I can't speak for my peers, but I'll be doing what I can in 2020.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.